All right. What's going on, everybody? This is another episode of the Risky Business Podcast with my co-host Dylan Craft. What's
What
going
it
on,
do?
Brody?
What's going on,
Hey,
bro?
man. Before we get started, I just want to congratulate my guy on a new job. Something that I really feel like that he's gonna love doing. He's pretty good at bossing people around and getting them better. So, Dylan, if
Okay.
you can give us a little bit of insight on how this new job is going and what we can expect from it, bro.
Well, thank you for making me sound like a typical old white man.
Oh yeah,
That's just boss everybody around. That's what.
yeah, man.
No, so I started a little bit about a month ago, and I got a job at Crystal Coast Wellness Performance in Morehead City.
Yep.
Um, I am doing a little bit of everything. I'm currently trying to get my certification in personal training through ACSM. So that way I can be certified and trained from every single population. Right now, I'm doing a little bit more older population, trying to work down to be able to do a lot more athletics like we're accustomed to being around. One of my patients right now that I'm working with, client that I'm working with right now, she's training to do another Ironman. So she
Woo.
did she did one in 2017, 2018, I believe. And she, after COVID, everything was very difficult to get back into the gym. A lot of people, they kind of let their health go and everything like that. She was in that case, but she's working really hard right now. I had her first session with her today and really worked hard on like her power output,
Yeah.
because her biggest issue is the bike. Um, Doing, was it 112 miles, going uphill, downhill, all different terrains, everything like that.
Oh Lord.
She has some difficulty with getting the power output up, and looking at her numbers and everything. She needs to build some muscle. So
Hell, 112 miles. You might as well tell her to go on I-40 and just have at it.
it's the same distance,
Yeah, I mean, hey, just
literally.
go to Raleigh. Just
Yeah,
go from
and then
Burnsville to
run
Raleigh.
back.
You'll be fine.
Yeah, so I'm very excited to really dive deep into doing this type of training. And if any of y'all athletes are in the area between Moorhead, Jacksonville, Wilmington, Greenville, Raleigh, specifically like athletes that are still training right now, or they're in their off season, getting ready to go into their season, definitely hit me up. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, Facebook. That's the easiest ways to get up with me, and we can definitely get into something because I do in-person training and I also do online training as well.
I can definitely vouch for him on that, man. I remember one year for college, me and Dylan had this wild idea that we were gonna go to Trask, and I was coaching at the time, and we had this idea that we were gonna do 1,000 rep challenge,
That was brutal.
and that by far was the most exhausting. Most the crazy thing about it is once you get past 300, nothing even hurts anymore
No,
because you're on failure completely. Like it's a whole mental thing after that point right there. Um, Dog, I had veins popping out that I never even knew existed
mm-hmm.
on my body. You know what I'm saying? Like my toe had a vein on it, and that's scary. I didn't even know how to feel about that.
Yeah,
But
I think I got a picture up on Instagram still of my pump that I had after that lifting
yeah, man,
session.
it was crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like I felt like I was just strong arming everything. Like I brushed my teeth that morning and like cut the side of my gum from where I was going too hard because I couldn't feel anything. You know what I'm saying? It's like having a nerve block on.
And basically, that's what it is. Your muscles get so full of blood that
Yeah,
you can't move, and it's just there. Like it's
yeah,
just nothing but muscle and blood. So like you, yeah, even like brushing your teeth after that point, it's very dangerous. You're stepping into the
yes.
danger zone when you get to that
I was
level.
just, I was literally looking like just a bulky Bobby Lashley.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was out of this world, man. But I'm glad that you got a chance to get into that, bro. Whenever I was in school for massage therapy, we used to work with triathlon, athletes, and
Mm-hmm.
seeing some of that stuff, man. What we would do is we would give the massages to them after the triathlon.
Yeah.
Actually, pretty gross.
Mm-hmm.
Just putting that out there because those people go through a lot of stuff, like like you'll see some pretty dirty stuff whenever you go to a triathlon. Those people do not stop for nothing. I'm talking about if they got to piss, if they got to do number two, whatever the case may be, they're not stopping. They're
Mm-hmm.
just doing it while they're running. Um,
That's
I
why the
think,
swim. I think that's why they put the swim first.
yeah. Put it swim first. Let them go ahead and get all of that on out of there. But shoot, it was like the swimming, the biking, and then they had the running part of it. And I can remember seeing some people in there, like one guy that was doing it. He told me he was like 65 years old, and he was out there running a triathlon. And I'm like, damn, what's my excuse? You know what I'm saying? I don't even want to run to the refrigerator and back.
Usually,
But
the average age of most triathlon and Ironman athletes is like late 30s.
yeah, and it's people that are completely out of their mind, is what it is.
Yeah, they're not sane people like to
2
do
laps
something
around the
like that.
football field, count me out. I'm done. Don't want no more. Don't even want the water break. Honestly, just let me go to hell home.
And I'll tell you too, like if you want to see some gnarly shit, you look at either somebody that does like an Ironman or they do an ultra marathon or something like
Oh
that.
yeah.
Look at their
Absolutely
feet
not.
after.
Yeah, absolutely not. They'll look like Coach Dion's. Love you, Dion, but damn, man, it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible.
That's bad,
Speaking of
dude.
football, bro, I have to dig in to man, it is so frustrating to see the way that college and NFL is going right now.
It's disgusting. I can't stand watching it.
Bro, we talked about the defensive side of things one time before, but just some of the stuff that I have got a chance to see for myself. Now one game that I can honestly say that I enjoyed was that Duke and Notre Dame game. I enjoyed that. That was Sam Hartman is he's just a beast, bro. Like in the fourth quarter, that dude right there is like, I'm not gonna say Tom Brady-ish, of course, but I'm just saying that's a guy in the fourth quarter you do not want to have the ball if the game is on the line.
He's a baller, that's for sure. They both Notre Dame and Duke in our day and age now, they are very much old school type of teams.
Yes, and I hate giving Duke credit because I am a Carolina fan, but Duke is playing their ass off right now.
They got
Like they
chance.
really
Elko's
are.
doing a good job.
They're running it with the best of them. You know what I'm saying? They can literally pick up yards whenever they want. It
Right.
doesn't matter. I love their offensive line too. Their offensive line is actually, they got some guys that are not scared to get in there and get dirty. You know, and that's a big thing. But dude, just some of the stuff that I've seen in college, like with Nevada. I looked up something with them that disturbed the hell out of me. The fact that right now, and I know it's still early on in the season, but they are allowing 3 fumbles a game right now.
What?
3 fumbles a game, bro. How the hell do you win a game allowing 3 fumbles a game? That is absolutely terrible.
And it's not the same person. It's multiple people.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is a team stat, not just one. This is a team stat.
Dude, that's disgusting.
And then the 3 schools, that bother me the most right now. And I am a guy that I like running over passing. I do, because I sucked at pass blocking. So therefore, I loved every time that we ran the ball. Except for certain times. Sometimes I'm like, all right, coach, it is 3rd and 45. Why the hell are we running the ball? Like, there's no point in that.
And we did it too.
Yeah, so we did. But looking at these 3 schools, Army, Air Force, and Navy. Army. Good old Army. Army is averaging 54 rushing attempts per game and only 185 yards on the damn ground. Why?
Oh gosh, that's hilarious.
I mean, what in your right mind says that is a winning program formula?
Oh, and here's another stat that'll make you laugh. 3rd down efficiency for the Army right now is 22 for 59.
How many times do you probably think that they ran the ball on 3rd down, Dylan?
4th down efficiency, 13 for 14.
1 and 2 yards out. Let's just run it, baby. Let's just line us up. Let's do what we do. Hey, damn passing the ball whatsoever.
They have thrown the ball 66 times so far this season.
Oh, I got something really good for you. All right, Air Force, right?
All right.
So right now, 5-0, 3-0 in the conference. Runs the ball 62 times in a damn game. 62 times now. That is absolutely ridiculous. Okay, I don't care if they are 5-0, whatever the case may be. Take that shit to one of those big schools. You're winning nothing. You're not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the part that bothers me the most with that team right there, Air Force averages 4 passing attempts per game. 4.
Yeah, I was about to comment on that because I'm
4,
looking at
Dylan.
I'm looking 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. Damn, you can't even give them a high five because they don't run it 5. I mean, they don't pass it 5 times. They were doing 4.
So their quarterback has thrown the ball 19 times so far this season. He has 410 passing yards. Their leading rusher right now has 400 yards.
I mean, like, my God, dude. And, you know, I haven't got a chance to really sit back and look at them a whole lot. I did get a chance to see one game with them. But I wonder if they do the opposite. Like, if they're up, do they start passing the ball?
I don't know.
That's something that we're going to have to get back to eventually.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to pay attention to them this
Navy.
Right,
good old Navy.
Navy usually is actually pretty good.
Navy runs the ball 48.7. So let's just say 49 damn times in a game.
Right.
They average 221 rushing yards a game.
That's horrible.
Yes, Dylan. Yes.
Their quarterback, 22 for 43 with 344 yards, and their leading rusher has 291 yards. And that's their fullback.
Yes. Dylan, that is disgusting to look at, bro. At this point, I'm getting ready to go and put in a resume at Army, Air Force, and Navy and just see which one I get lucky enough to get. Because I could be an offensive coordinator there, no problem.
Oh, yeah.
Hell, I'll draw up Skull 1 and Skull 2 and just tell them to keep running it.
I don't know if they can figure out what Skull 2 is.
Yeah, well, shit. All they got to know is how to run. I mean,
well, Navy's got to play East Carolina towards the end of the season, so I'm kind of curious to see because we always struggle against Navy for some god-awful reason. We can't ever beat them.
Well, they're probably not used to somebody running it almost 50 times a game, Dylan. That's more than likely what's wrong with them. I mean, when you game plan for a team that they only run the ball, and then when they surprisingly throw a pass, nobody's expecting it. Not even the fans on the other team are expecting it.
I just thought about this. What is the passing record for Navy?
Jesus Christ, ain't no telling. Probably 12.
Well, it might be from a long time ago because you remember back in like the 40s and 50s, Army, Navy, and Air Force, they were like the teams back then, especially Army and Navy. Like they were like the teams too. So the most passing yards for a career from a Navy quarterback is 6,000.
That's pretty good, I guess.
Well, considering now most quarterbacks throw around 3,000 a season.
Yeah. Well, maybe back then they were only passing the ball. It could be reversed from what they're doing now.
It could have been because I have no clue who this guy is.
Man, it's just crazy, man. Like that.
That was from 91 to 94.
Yeah.
That is wild.
That is wild, especially considering now. Dude, it's just that just mind blows me though. Like yeah. One thing that I can say is they probably have the fastest games out of everybody because the clock is probably getting chewed up like no tomorrow.
Especially with how it is now, where if you run out of bounds, the clock doesn't stop.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean,
I was going to get your take on that too. What do you think about that?
That right there was the dumbest shit to me ever. Like,
it's horrible.
How do you, as a coach, how do you control, end of game situations without burning a damn timeout?
Well, after the 2 minute mark, it does stop. like that makes any sense. Like let's
Yeah,
just like
well, after the 2-minute mark, but damn, if you're gonna let me run off all 3 quarters from running the ball out of bounds, if I get up by 1 touchdown, I'm gonna keep running some bitch, I guess. Might as well.
it's only
Especially if the
smart.
defense can't stop me.
Yeah.
If they can't stop me, I might as well just keep on running it out there. Man, and that's what I'm saying. Like that kind of stuff right there, and then you go into this is why I don't see a college coach going to the NFL and being very successful at this point because of all those different rules and stuff like that. Because then that's making you change the way that you're coaching. That's making you change the way that your offensive scheme that you like to run. Defenses are getting more of a break whenever you get into the NFL because once the damn ball goes out of bounds, that's it. You know what I'm saying? You start up the clock. But it's just wild to me the difference that's in there, man. And I mean,
historically speaking, you very rarely see college coaches go up to the NFL and have any type of career whatsoever.
Oh yeah.
The only one I can think of off the top of my head is Bill O'Brien. That's the only one I can really think of.
Right.
And he hasn't really done a ton since being. I think he's had like 2 or 3 good seasons, but outside of that, he really hasn't done a ton to really say like, hey, I've been a successful NFL coach outside of keeping his job. Because I mean, if you keep your job in the NFL, period, like you've had a good career. But
right. I cannot for the life of me right now, and this is kind of embarrassing because I am a Panthers fan, which is also embarrassing right now. But I can't think of the coach that we had. I think it was a couple years ago that he was a college coach. I can't think of his name right now. God, Lee, what was this dude's name?
The coach that was there whenever they went to the Super Bowl and like is John Fox.
Yeah, no, not John Fox. I'm sorry, it must have been a year after that.
Oh man, God, that was a very small.
Yeah, I can't think of his name, but I know he had brought like all his daggone coaches from college and brought them to the NFL, and we were shit once again. Trying to run a daggone college playbook in the NFL that absolutely did not work whatsoever. And the NFL is just changing as a whole right now itself, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking up something earlier too with Denver. Talk about how bad Denver is this year.
Mm-hmm.
Poor Javonte Williams. I wish he would go somewhere else if he can, when he can. Get the hell out of Denver. You're wasting your talent.
Well, I mean, he could stick it out, and they're going to go through coach and quarterback and everything else until they just get enough first-round picks that they can actually make something themselves. Because Denver is freaking sorry.
Russ is done. Russ is done. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm going to say it. A lot of people might not like it. I don't care. Russ is done. That defense is absolutely horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Quarterbacks are averaging a 133.4 rating against Denver right now.
That's astronomical, dude. That's crazy.
They are averaging also 3.5 passing touchdowns against them right now.
Let's call it 4.
Yeah, might as well. That's absolutely awful, bro. Like it amazes me. And what's the name? Chicago's not far behind them. Mm-hmm. Chicago's giving up almost 3 touchdown passes a game, and they're getting annihilated through the air. Like, it doesn't make any sense on that. But I just saw also where the Chargers are doing worse than Denver now.
Really?
Yes.
I hate that too because I like Justin Herbert.
I do too, man. Justin Herbert is a baller. He's one of those guys that's just gonna stick it out. He's gonna do what he's got to do. Bro, it's just I don't know, man. It's kind of hard. There's not nobody that's absolutely.
There's nobody sticking out.
Yeah, well, except for San Francisco. San Francisco is balling.
They are, and well, that team is just built. They're built to win, dude.
Yes, they are.
They're that typical San Francisco offense where they've got the running backs and they've got the flex guys to be able to do any type of play on the offense. Their defense is solid. They're not like crazy good to where like they stick out and do things that like you don't see anybody else doing.
Yeah, but they're top
That
5 though, at least.
That's what I'm saying. So
Yeah,
that's all they
top
need to
5.
do.
Yeah.
They need to be good enough to keep everybody under 20 points, and their offense just needs to run the ball, run the clock out, let McCaffrey do what he's supposed to do. Brock Purdy
Yeah,
hits
just give
people when they're
McCaffrey
supposed
the
to
ball
hit.
and get the hell out of the way. That's
Yeah,
the plan. That would be
they
the
need to keep
plan.
on giving it to Debo so I can win my fantasy games because I'm 1-3 right now. It's horrible.
Yeah, bro. Well, I'm 0 for 3 right now. So,
Oh,
well, 0 for 4. Sorry.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
because you suck.
yeah.
I just
Well,
suck less than you. That's just
honestly, bro, I was sitting there looking at it. Whenever we did our draft, it took so long to do it. I fell asleep in the middle of the damn draft, and then had some other stuff that was going on. Whenever I finally did get back up, and so the computer picked like 6 of my picks, and I was looking like, oh my god! I said it picked Ezekiel Elliott. Why? That was absolutely
how many
pissed.
people did you have in your league?
I want to say it's like 8 of us. I think it's 8 of us all together.
Okay, so I did a 12-man draft this year, and I'm pretty sure it took every bit of 2 hours. And after like the 4th round, most people start doing auto drafts. I did it for like the last 5 picks, right? Just because like I had my team out, I knew what I wanted, I got who I needed to. Those last 5 picks, all running backs,
Great.
all freaking running backs. I'm like, why did I do this? I could have easily just went in and like picked a receiver, picked another defense, got another tight end, like just something I would actually like in case something happens. I've got somebody. Now I got 5 running backs. I can't do anything with. You can't trade them. Nobody wants them.
Well, dude, the one thing that I do like is the fact that I got Jalen Hurts. But last year, my first 2 picks were tight ends. First 2 picks last year, I had George Kittle and Travis Kelce.
I mean, that's not bad. This year I got Kyle Pitts, and he ain't done nothing because Atlanta's just ass.
I don't even know my tight end this year. That's how bad this guy is. I don't even know who the hell he is.
I got Kyle Pitts, and I got Cole Kmet. And he's actually played pretty good so far. It just so happens Chicago, they can't stop a cold from coming from a wet paper bag that you got covering your face up. You can't stop anything, bro.
No,
They're
they
horrible.
can't. They can't, bro. They really can't. And they have problems on offense and defense at this point. Dude, one team that I'm really enjoy looking at this year, just from the defensive side, is the Detroit Lions. I never
I know
thought I
that's your
would say
team.
that. I never thought I would say that, bro. And that's the crazy thing. Like, that's not even my team, but I respect them so much because of what they have built over there defensively, man.
Mm-hmm.
Detroit is coming.
You know, I listened to a lot of stuff on NFL Network, and they were talking about Detroit. And they were saying that this year you really got to be on the lookout for him. Jared Goff is not a bad quarterback, especially in a dome. In a dome, he is so good. His numbers back it up. Yeah. And if he keeps on balling the way that he's going, all their offense has got to do is just score 25 points. If their offense keeps scoring 20, and with how football is now, that's easy.
Yeah.
So if that defense just keeps it up, doing what they're supposed to do, we've seen in the last couple of years, the team that won every single year is one that's got the best defense.
Yep.
So look out for Detroit.
Yes, please do, because I'm telling you, they are no pushover, man. Like, Detroit has what I wish Colorado would do.
Mm-hmm.
Detroit brings you so many different looks in a football game when it comes to defense. They're always blitzing somebody from somewhere different. I mean, hell, they have the safety to walk down sometimes just to blitz the corner and for that safety to kick out fast enough to cover that guy. But they're like on it though, bro. Like, it's no hesitation. Even whenever quarterbacks are doing the audible, it's like, okay, we understand that you did that, but we're still coming. Like, we still trust our guys enough to do this. And it's so exciting to see, like, it's not just 1 or 2 guys, it's all 11 are coming, and they want to make sure that you're not scoring. They want to lay the smack down on you every time that they're hitting you. Everybody's talking about Dallas defense. Dallas, to me, has not played anybody yet to consider them at the same level.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, right now, I'm taking Detroit's defense over Dallas's.
I would too.
All day of the week. Because for one thing, the Cowboys are the accident waiting to happen. Stephen A. Smith said that the best. But I am gonna give the props to them too, though, because they have been balling out on defense. From what you you got to beat what's in front of you. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? No matter what it is that you're playing against. Um, but man, just from what I've seen on Detroit so far, and Detroit is actually playing. They're actually playing my boys this week, and that kind of scares me because of our offensive line struggles. Um,
We don't have an offensive line. That's what you really meant to say.
yeah, pretty much that's what I meant
Yeah.
to say. But Bryce Young, we talked about him one time before, bro. I'm not gonna blame it on Bryce
Mm-hmm.
because Bryce had a second half that last game that showed me that he is capable whenever you take those training wheel offensive plays that we've been calling for him, these little short check down passes. You know, when you take that away and actually start letting him air out the ball a little bit, he
Mm-hmm.
becomes a quarterback.
So I'm gonna tag on to that.
Okay.
So put you as being offensive coordinator for the Panthers, right?
Uh-huh.
You saw that last week. You saw he has the capability of making big time throws.
Right.
Are you taking that handicap away from him and saying, "Hey, I want to see what you can do. Let's ball. If you get hurt, you get hurt. But like, let's ball. Let's see what you can do. Let's see how you lead this offense."
I am 100% doing that just because I don't want to keep seeing the kid demoralized by having to try to stand in the pocket and make something happen, and it's really just hurting them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I said it before. The thing is with having somebody like Bryce Young, you kind of need to make plays around him, like play action passes.
Mm-hmm.
Something that's giving him a chance to roll out and see his options. If he doesn't see anything, take off and run, bro.
Right.
You're quick enough to get, 4 or 5 yards going down the field. Go through your checks, see what you got. If you don't have anything, get out of there. There's no
Right.
reason for you to keep taking the hits that you are because they're trying to make him into a pocket quarterback. He's not that guy for that.
Well, the thing is, he could be. The way that they ran him at Alabama, the way that
Mm-hmm.
Nick Saban's offense is designed, it's designed enough so that he has the capability of being able to get out of the pocket, make throws, but he still's got the capability of making those throws in the pocket. He can very well
Right.
be a pocket passer, but you have to use him the right way. And they're not doing. They're trying to make him a very traditional, old school style Troy Aikman-esque quarterback, and he's
Yeah,
not.
and that's something that the Panthers have troubles with, man. Even when we had Cam. Now, a lot of people don't like Cam. I like Cam. I just
Mhm.
do. Being a Panthers fan and having Cam was an exciting time, especially that year
It
that
was.
we went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
The one thing that I liked about Cam is not the most accurate quarterback. We can go ahead and say that.
that's true.
It's always been a thing for him. He has a strong throwing arm,
Mhm.
but he can't.
Oh, we had a cannon. Yeah.
Yeah, he just not the guy for accuracy. But what I did like about Cam, you could tell Cam was a guy that was in the film room. Um, Cam, when he was able to kind of freelance and roll out and do these play actions and these read options, and the RPOs is perfect for him because he doesn't have to throw it far. He can light it up right down the middle, slants, whatever the case may be.
Hmm.
I think at that time we had Kelvin Benjamin and DJ Moore.
Hmm.
No, Devin Funches.
Devin Funches, yeah,
That's what it was. Um,
and Greg Olson.
yep, Greg. Can't forget about Greg, bro. Can't forget about Greg, which probably was his favorite daggone target every single game.
It should have
But
been.
for good reason. That's what I was about to say. I mean, he was one of the most productive tight ends that was out there.
If they don't
Um,
retire his number at Carolina, I'm just going to go ahead and just say I'm not going to be a Panthers fan anymore.
I
There's no
absolutely
reason.
will not. I will not watch him ever again.
Yeah,
I watch him get beat. That's what I'll look for.
and don't feel
But
bad about it.
but yeah, man, it was that year right there was just amazing because we had the passing threats, we had the threats downfield.
Mhm.
Kelvin Benjamin was that guy that if you wanted to throw a 30-40 yard bomb, he'll go down there and get it.
Mhm.
Devin Funches was the man in the red zone. Greg Olson could score from anywhere, catch it from anywhere. It didn't matter where it was. Then on defense, the backup that we had with having Shaq Thompson, having Luke Kuechly, man, that right there was they had the formula for that team. It
Dude,
just
that
came down.
linebacker core was
It was sick,
disgusting.
bro. It was absolutely
You
sick.
had Luke Kuechly, you had Thomas Davis, which was
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Carolina Panther. You had Shaq Thompson, a rookie, just came out of college,
And was
just
balling,
disgusting. AJ
balling.
Klein, I bet that
Yep,
ain't name you remember, but he
yep.
was
I forgot about
disgusting.
that too.
He went to New Orleans and he's played very well. Like
Well,
that
that's the
whole,
thing, bro. Anybody that leaves the Panthers plays great.
yeah,
I mean, they
it's
played great.
terrible.
The only one that
Look,
didn't do anything because he got fat and turned into a tight end was Kelvin Benjamin.
yeah, that was waiting to happen. That was going to happen to Carolina too.
Oh yeah. He was just a guy. He struggled with weight. I mean, Kelvin Benjamin was. I forgot exactly how tall he was, but he was like 240 then.
Yeah, I think it was right 6'5", 6'6", something like that.
Yeah, 240 pounds, and I think they said that he showed up to the Bills camp at like 270.
Yeah,
Like my man was borderline a defensive end at this point.
Now, my only thing with Cam, I like Cam. I like him on the ball field whenever things are going right.
Yeah.
Okay? I've got a little bit of a different idea with him. I couldn't stand watching his fundamentals. He had no fundamentals. Let me rephrase that.
Oh,
He
he
was
threw off
just
his damn back foot every time.
every time. It just so happened he had a howitzer of a freaking shoulder,
Yeah.
so he could throw it all over the yard. There's a reason why all of his receivers had to be 6'5" and up because he overthrew everybody.
Yes, sir.
My big thing with Cam was when things went bad, he was an emotional player.
Oh
And
yeah, he was.
a lot of people like emotional players because they're relative to who they are as fans. They kind of relate to the player. And there's times for that in professional sports.
Yeah.
To Cam's extent, it hurt him very, very many times. Look at him in the Super Bowl. He got sacked multiple times. He started getting his head. He wasn't as sharp. He wasn't dancing around like he usually does. All through the playoffs, he was dancing around, running all around the field, everything else. Super Bowl, he like locked in. It hurt him. He got really tense, and it started to get to him. I like Cam. I won't say I'm not saying this because of any personal thing towards him. I'm just seeing it as like a quarterback analyst is saying he tensed himself up and took him out of that game. And you saw it later on in the year, and later on in the a couple of seasons later, you saw him do that more and more and more when the media started getting after him.
Right. That was the part right there that I said was his biggest downfall was whenever he stopped having fun playing the game.
Yeah.
When Cam was that first down guy, or doing the Superman in the end zone, handing the ball off to a fan in the stands, he was having fun. Now, one thing that I can say is when the media started getting to him about that, the celebrations, and they were calling him cocky and this and that and third. And I remember one time I was looking at a video. I'm gonna have to see if I can find it for you. But they were talking about how they kind of wanted Cam to stop doing the celebrations. Right then and there, that was it for Cam because he couldn't be himself anymore. That excitement that he brought to himself, but not only to himself, but the team also. Because hell, I mean, you even seen Luke Kuechly crack a smile on the field. And that's something you don't see too often.
And see, I'm an old school guy, so I've never really been that big into like the dancing and stuff like that. It don't bother me. It's just me personally, I wouldn't do that. But like the way that Cam did it, Cam was never intentional to anybody. He never flaunted at anyone. He wasn't
it's not
that
like
way.
He was ever in anybody's face. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you scored a first down. What you gonna do about it?
Yeah, he was never like that unless somebody was talking junk in the media or anything like that. Then maybe he was. Then I'm okay with it. But like. For him to do that and then giving the ball to fans, like that was his thing. He made every person on that team to do that.
Yeah.
So him doing stuff like that, like I really appreciate that as a fan of the Panthers and everything, him doing that. But then like when the media came in and said that to him, it's like, well, you're looking cocky and everything. You know what I look at him say? I say, yeah, you can call me cocky all you want to. How much was your pay stub last year? Oh yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. Stay there. You ask me questions because I am the center of attention. Well, that's why I look at it.
My thing is this right here. You don't want them dancing, stop them from scoring. Stop them from getting first downs.
Stand in front of the truck.
That's as easy as it can be. Yeah, we're talking about his pass, and not to mention his rushing. You know, like that dude right there was fierce. If Cam had the ball, I mean, Cam's a big dude, bro. And to see how he used to do diving front flips to get first downs and touchdowns, that's crazy. Like, he was stupid athletic. That was the thing about him, man. He wasn't all that technically gifted, but he was so athletic and raw that you know that's what really helped him out a lot. And you've seen quarterbacks that tried to do this in the past, like poor RG3. He just didn't have the body style for the type of play that he wanted to
And
do.
he wouldn't slide. He kept on taking hits like a
No,
dump.
he would not. One person that has improved on that a lot is Tua. Tua will slide now. Tua will get down. Tua will damn near do an army crawl to make sure that he doesn't get hit now. And I don't blame him.
Well, how that offense is now, he ain't got to run anymore.
And I love the fact that he's having a better year. I mean, obviously they just got trashed by the Bills, but they went against Josh Allen. Not surprising. But I'm glad to see that he's having a year of confidence after what he went through last year, bro. That could be very hard. You know how it is. Injuries can be very hard on a person, especially injuries to the head.
Yeah.
You don't never know what that's doing, messing up your mind and the inside. The mental aspect of should I retire or not because I keep having these injuries, you know, things like that, which in an athlete's life, that's something that's always going to become a conversation. I don't care what you are. If you're an athlete and you're competing at a high level, or no matter what level that you're competing at, sooner or later, Father Time is going to give you that knock on the door, and you're going to have to tell yourself, look, it's over. That's going to be the hardest conversation as an athlete that you're going to have with yourself, is that your career is over. You had a great run. You had fun while you did. If you gave the game everything that you had, then you shouldn't have no regrets when it's time to walk away.
Right.
And you know, like that's kind of where I am on a football standpoint. You know, I had fun with football. I absolutely loved football. I didn't like it at first, but I loved it later on. And you know, after I played semi-pro for a few years and you know, dealt with some little nagging injuries and stuff like that, I was finally like, all right, it's time to give it up. And I hated that because I wanted to go and compete the next year after that, because we had just came off of a season where we lost in the championship by a damn fumble in the end zone that got returned back for a touchdown. So I'm thinking to myself, like, this team is legit now. You know what I'm saying? Like, before we were lucky to win 2 games. And coming off of high school, we were lucky to win 1 game in 2 seasons. So I finally started getting, you know, to the point where I was like, all right, this is something I want to do. But as those injuries kept going, and you figure when you get older, you got to wake up for work on Monday morning. You don't get Saturday and Sunday to recover anymore. Right. It's Sunday. That's it. After Sunday, get your ass up, go in here and clock in at that 9 to 5. It's a little bit harder.
Yeah, but if you're still good to the game, it'll give back in one way.
Oh yeah, it gives back. And the one thing that I can say that I love the fact that I'm able to do now is I can pass that knowledge on to other people. And that to me is just as important as playing on the field.
Right.
I had a conversation with one of the heavyweight wrestlers from Pender the other day. I don't know if you remember Chris Johnson.
Yep.
And you know, that was one of my high school coaches, like I said, in wrestling. And he introduced me to his heavyweight this year. Kind of a slim heavyweight. Guy gave me a firm handshake. I looked at him. I was like, look, man, me and you are getting ready to be seeing each other a lot.
That's not a good thing.
And he kind of just looked at me, and I told him, I was like, look, bro, I absolutely love this sport. Like, you know what I'm saying? You could play a lot of sports. You can't play wrestling.
Right.
And I told him, I was like, man, it's going to be a lot of mental stuff that you're going to have to get over. Like, you know, when it comes to cutting weight or, you know, taking a beating a couple times in order to learn from your mistakes, all that stuff is going to happen. But mentally, you can't get defeated in that right there, because if you do, you got a long season ahead of you. Right. Like I said, bro, it used to be 25 matches max for me. Now it's like these kids are getting 80 matches in a year. So if your first 10 don't go right, you still got 70 more to go. You know what I'm saying? It's a long season, bro. And wrestling is a sport that is hard on your body, but hard on your mental as well.
And that's just that whole conversation you can have about quality over quantity. What's more important to you?
Yeah, yeah,
And
for sure.
it's happening with every sport now. You see football, they're playing more games a year. They're also doing 7-on-7s. They're doing all the jamborees and stuff they're doing now. Baseball, the season are going from like 25 to 30 games a season to like 40, 50. They're basically playing a college season.
And that's a huge
Basketball's the
that's
same
a
way.
huge jump. That is a
Yeah.
huge jump, man. Especially, not being, if you're not prepared for it, if you're coming in from the season before and you're doing the same thing this season, you are not prepared.
Oh, you're getting behind.
Yeah, you're absolutely not prepared, because you hear coaches say it all the time. There's some kid that's out there doing 5 more push-ups than you or running 1 more mile than you. That ain't even going to cut it anymore. It's one of those things where you have to dedicate yourself to this. Like, being an athlete is legit a job. It's a I would say a career, because being an athlete is supposed to be something that you love to do. And I always tell people there's a difference between a job and a career.
And it's funny that you brought up my job and everything now at the beginning of the show, because like if you look at it from a trainer standpoint,
Yep.
and you're working with kids, you're working with 13 to 16-year-olds, right?
Mm-hmm.
That it used to be 20 years ago, the skill gap was much, much wider.
Oh yeah.
And you can attribute that to many different things. Social media is a gigantic thing.
Huge.
The talent pool, as for trainers themselves, like the passing down of information wasn't as prevalent as it is now. Now it's so much connection based and everything. Like it's so much easier now to obtain information. And these kids that are coming up, they're getting trained at such a higher level now, being young, that their bodies are not catching up to the amount of information that they're getting, which you can attribute. So looking at it from like an injury prevention to a skill gap, to skill development, they're not able to catch up enough. And like if you don't have that information going early as like 10 to 12 years old, and then you're going to a high school season where you're playing 45 baseball games, you're doing 80 matches on the wrestling mat, or you're playing 17 games in football, your body's just not there. It's not mature enough.
Yeah.
And
if you excuse me, one thing that I've always said that's weird to think about, but at the same time it makes a lot of sense. All right, your average practice is anywhere between 3 and 4 hours long, right? Now coaches would be like, oh man, we've been doing this for a whole week, you should know what you're doing by now. In reality, that whole week hasn't even amounted to a full 24 hours yet.
Right.
So the amount of information that you're giving them, yes, it might have been over a period of 5 days, but still you have to give enough hours of repetitions of doing this stuff for certain people to grasp it. Some people can take, and you can show them 2 times and they're good to go.
Right.
But then you have others. It's just like with math or anything else. You know what I'm saying? It might take a kid a whole semester to finally figure out, okay, wow, I understand this now. You know what I'm saying? Versus that smart kid that stares at the computer all day can just look at it and be like, okay, boom, 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 this is this. Don't have to show any work or anything. And that's what I say about sports as well. For instance, like on a baseball standpoint, you can show somebody how to throw a curveball. They might not get it for a whole month on figuring out their release point. You know what I'm saying? Where they want to locate it at, what is working for them, what's not. It might take a full 24 hours for them to understand that. You know what I'm saying? Right. Versus having 3 practices at an hour a day figuring out that one thing. You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to tag on to that too, because like baseball in particular, baseball is one of the hardest things to be able to coach in general.
Yes.
Because if you look at it, whenever we played, like me, Dakota, you, all of us, whenever we played, our practices were about 3 hours long. But that was longer. That was longer than what normally you heard about. Normal teams didn't coach that much. Now we did because we thought we needed extra work. Right? But take a pitcher, for example. A good pitcher needs to be having 3 to 4 bullpen sessions a week. If they're in off season. If they're in season, then you maybe have 1 to 2 maintenance. and then you have your games where you're pitching, because usually you're only going to be pitching 1, maybe 2 games a week at the most, and that's very high. So if you're practicing, I don't know, if we're doing off season, right? You're practicing probably 4 to 5 days a week at maybe 2 hours a pop at the most.
Yeah.
And if you're not getting enough bullpen time, because for some reason coaches now think that a 30 pitch bullpen is enough. Like, absolutely not.
It's not, bro. And you know, thinking back to the old days of baseball, you would see a guy with 120 pitches on the count. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if a guy gets to 70, he's in deep waters.
He is.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
he's dog tired.
Yeah, like he's exhausted. And hell, if he does get up to 90, he needs Tommy John by tomorrow. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
I got a story about this.
All right.
Yeah, I think you know about this story. So I had one game where we went into extras. We were playing at Wallsburg Hill, and we ended up winning we won by a run. We walked it off. I actually hit the walk off that night. I'll preference that. Go ahead and call me cocky all you want to.
Did it go left?
It went left.
Yeah.
It went left down to third baseline.
Good old far left.
Far left. It worked. Hey. But so I pitched that game. I went to full game. I think we went 9 innings. So I knew I threw a lot of pitches. I kind of felt it after I got done with the game and everything. And the guy, it was you remember Tanner Benton. His dad he kept a pitch count, right? And this was a year that Batts and Engel weren't coaching anymore. We had Coach Ward. So they let me go. I mean, I was pitching well, not well enough, but I started to get some gas later on in the year, or later on in the game. So we get done. We went out there, mopped the field, all that hoopla mess. Then we came back in the dugout, and I sat down, and like I just felt my arm just like it was
felt like it was about to come off.
It felt like it was already on the floor.
Oh God!
So Coach Neil Benton came over to me. He was like, he just had a look on his face. He's like, "How'd your arm feel?" I was like, "Well, I mean, if a dog were to come chew it up, I wouldn't feel it." So he just looked at me and was like, "Well, according to this number right here, it probably feels like that." I was like, "Do I want to know this number?" And he was like, "No, I haven't told your dad yet, because you know my dad's he's a pitching guy."
Oh yeah.
He's like, "I haven't told your dad yet. I'm very terrified to." And he looked at me. He was like, "I'm going to show it to you right here. I'm not going to tell you." I looked down and I was like, 178 pitches.
Golly, son.
I looked down and I was like,
Christ.
"Sir, like, I know you're an educated man, but are you sure you counted that right?" And he was like, "I wish I was wrong." And I was like, "You got to be kidding me."
170. Oh my God, dude.
In one game. The first 3 innings were bad. I was able to get out
for the season after that. I'm sorry.
Well, it was towards the end of the season. Next game I didn't play. That next game we were playing Midway at their place, and that's the first game I didn't play since the very first game of my freshman year. And the only reason I didn't play then is because I was in a bullpen to close.
Jesus Christ, man.
That's the most pitches I ever threw in a game.
Dude, that's honestly something we need to look into. That might be some of the most pitches that have ever been thrown in a high school game by one player.
I'm going to look that up. That there has to be a record for that.
Yeah, man, because 100 and godly. What's the record for MLB on that?
Oh, I think it's in like the 200s. I think a guy went like 200 pitches or something like that.
That's sick, bro. Must have been.
I'm gonna look that up because I actually don't know that. I'm very curious though. If that's even a record, like I don't even know if they would. I hope if I have that record, I don't want it. All that matters is I won.
Yeah, that's something. On the next episode, we'll definitely have to come back in and chime in and
yeah, see. I'll look it up and we'll go to it. Go into it next week, but I'm really curious to see that.
Well, we're getting a little bit on time right now, but I do know that you said that there was some things that you had that you wanted to
I
kind
do,
of
yeah.
ask about. So let's fire it up, baby. This is called the
So
hot seat now. Let's
I
go.
saw this on TikTok the other day. I saw
All
on
right.
another podcast we're talking about this. Question for you. How many times are you using the same towel after you shower with it before you actually go to clean it?
Once.
Once?
Once.
Oh God. I don't want to answer this then.
I mean,
You use a different towel every time you shower.
it depends on how many I have left. If I look up and I'm like, damn, all right, I only got 5 more left, then I might use it twice.
I don't want to answer this now.
But that's
Mine's
just, I don't
mine's
know.
at least
Maybe
3 times.
this is
It's because
just,
I'm lazy.
maybe it's just a black household thing. Or I don't know if that's the case. But you know, growing up, mom used to make me get a new washcloth, new towel every day.
See, my dad always told me you look at towels the same way you look at underwear. You can wear it three different days in a row, 3 different ways.
Yeah, absolutely not. I'm not doing that. I'm not. If you think I'm getting ready to wear a pair of drawers after going to Taco Bell or something like that in a day, I'm absolutely not.
Hey,
Not
yellow in
happening.
the front, brown in the back, man.
Yeah, not exactly. Nope. Not digging for gold. All right.
Hey, all you gotta do is wear it front. You turn around, go to the back, and then you flip it inside out, and you're good. That's 3 days in a row. You ain't gotta do laundry.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. I'm not the one
That's
that
some
does it, so
that's some white shit.
I'm not gonna set my woman up for failure.
I saw that on TikTok. And I'm like, I've got to ask Juan about this.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one. I'm scared to know what the next one is going to be.
That was my main one. I had another one, but I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, don't find it.
It's been a long day.
Like, would you rather drink bleach or Clorox?
That's depending on the day.
I'm just go around and start asking people that Tide Pods or regular laundry detergent
Or Gain. Keep it fresh. Whenever you're done.
detergent, Dylan.
Yeah, but Gain, make sure you get that. Don't use that
I like
other
to
shit.
go. I like to go fancy.
Oh, what? You don't want to use Target brand?
Yeah, I mean I'll use Gain.
There you go.
Yeah, ain't no
I
problem.
like it.
Yeah,
I
we
like
can do
it.
that.
Yeah, we'll end up in the same place anyways.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it just all makes your clothes smell better for 20 seconds, and then when you put them in a drawer and take it out, it smells like tofu all over again.
That's true. And I will say, the next couple of days, I'm going to the NC State versus Marshall game this Saturday.
Oh yeah.
So we're gonna see how that MJ Morris is actually gonna get to start. The rest of Raleigh's done messed with Dave Dorian so much that he's like, yeah, we're gonna have to put this cat in. Because they didn't want they wanted a red shirt him this year.
Mm-hmm.
But with the way Armstrong is playing, they have to put MJ in. 100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so no, I was gonna say like we're gonna go watch that game on Saturday, but Sunday, dude, I got my fire pit ready. I'm gonna probably get a rack of ribs for Sunday night. I think the high is supposed to be 70 degrees, and all next week is supposed to be the same way.
Good time for some fire pit fun.
Fire pit, chili.
Always good for ribs.
Ribs that's gonna be a go-to.
Yes, sir.
That's what I was gonna say. You need to come over on Sunday. I got you.
Hey man, we can make it happen, brother.
Yes,
Well,
I think that's all I got for today. You will also be on a midweek breakdown podcast with the Athletes Table for this week as well.
Please tune into that. Also, I have got some very interesting stuff to say, especially about Notre Dame and Louisville. That one right there is going to be a great breakdown to have. I don't want to get too much into detail right now and spoil it, so you're just gonna have to check in.
Yeah.
But other than that, this has been another episode of the Risky Business Podcast. Again, my host Dylan Craft, co-host, whatever you want to call him, brother from another mother, other color brother from another mother. It doesn't matter, whatever it is. Just know that's my guy right there. Have fun with
Yeah.
y'all. Tune in to the next one. Hope to see you soon.